Mint is still $15 a month for premium wireless. And if you haven't made the switch yet, here are 15 reasons why you should. 1, it's $15 a month. 2, seriously, it's $15 a month. 3, no big contrast. 4, I use it. 5, my mom uses it. Are you playing me off? That's what's happening, right? Okay, give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, $15 per month equivalent required. New customer offer first 3 months only. Then full price plan options available. Taxes and fees extra. See mintmobile.com.
As a scientist, I can tell you that Sundays are only 24 hours long. But with NFL Sunday Ticket and YouTube TV, you get every game every Sunday all in one place. That's upwards of 30 hours of NFL in one day. How can there be 30 hours in 24 hours, you ask? I have a theory. Magic. New users get NFL Sunday Ticket for 8 payments of $34.50 per month. Sign up at nflsundayticket.com. Local and national games on YouTube TV. NFL Sunday Ticket for out-of-market games excludes digital-only games and commercial use. Terms and embargoes apply. Availability varies.
Navigate the gauntlet of uncertainty the world throws at your business with SAP. Whether it's a tropical storm hitting your warehouse or a short supply of those little plastic twist ties, SAP can help you tackle those unexpected crushing setbacks with its AI-powered capabilities. To pivot to new suppliers, automate paperwork, and source the twist ties you need at the price you want, so your business can stay unstoppable. Learn more at sap.com/uncertainty.
As a sports fan, I have to confess. Sometimes the game gets kind of boring. That's when I unfold my Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 7 and use multi-window viewing on its large screen. Boring game? I'm checking out my fantasy baseball league at the same time. Score still 1-0? I'm replying to emails in the other window, scoring points with the boss. Semifinals finally getting exciting? I'm buying tickets to the finals and booking my flights. Can your phone do that?
The new Galaxy Z Fold 7. Get yours at Samsung.com.
Back with another episode of Keeping Current with Kansas City. This is Stabell from the KC Soccer Journal. With me, Carrie Robinson from the KC Soccer Journal, and the evil genius behind taking over all social media in Kansas City.
That's me.
You'll have to listen to another pod to find that out. And then
Evil
Daniel
genius.
Sperry from the KC Star and TV appearances. We're doing a little bit later tonight. Not that much later because we kind of go late a lot of times. But we're a little bit later tonight because Mr. Sperry was doing a TV appearance. Where were you at? You want to promote it?
Yeah, I mean, by the time you're listening to this, you'll never see it, but it was on Channel 41 on Sunday night for their Sunday Sound Off show. Tune in occasionally. I'll be on there throughout the soccer seasons to bring you updates and give really interesting takes on the Chiefs offense, the Royals, and Mizzou football, if you care about any of those three. If you don't worry. You care about as much as I do, but good to do some research and opinions on things, to find an opinion about something that I know very little about.
That's kind of the job sometimes.
That might be the job in TV. Anyways, it's always fun on there. Thank you, as always, to Mick Schaefer for extending the invite to me to join that show. So
I have a fly attacking me, so I was a little distracted there for a second.
that's
All
okay.
right.
I'm just talking and rambling as usual.
I was still listening. I have that ability sometimes. All right. We are not so fresh, relatively fresh, off of a KC Current 4-1 win over Chicago. The shutout streak ended. How many minutes was it?
This is a fun hot button topic.
I know. That's why I asked.
So the league officially says 870, which I'm sure in the end it's 1 minute longer than it really was. But if you think about it logically, the Kansas City Current had 9 straight shutouts that they had. So that's 9 times 90. You get your number. They did not concede for this. You cannot count any sort of stoppage time in games. So it's just two 90 minutes. So the last goal they had conceded was in the 88th minute of their match against Racing Louisville, and then they go on 9 straight clean sheets run. Then they concede a goal in the 58th minute of the game. So they completed 57 minutes, right,
Yeah.
of shutout soccer. So going into the night, they were at 812 was the minutes. 812 minutes. They conceded a goal in the 58th. 57 minutes of shutout soccer in that game gets added to that. It should be 869, but for some reason, um, maybe people at the league office have a hard time mathing. Because at first I thought I said 58th. Okay, here we go. Add 58 to that. But in reality, if you think about it, they never completed 58 minutes. They completed 57 minutes. Because it's the 58th minute when the clock is at 57. So when the clock at that moment, then that means they had completed 57 minutes. That's it. Didn't complete 58 because the clock wasn't at 58.
We're starting off strong with Sperry tonight.
Rant rant over.
It's rounding. You round up.
If it's a decimal point, there was no decimal minute. No,
It's not decimal points, but it's like 56 minutes and however many seconds. How many seconds was it?
I don't know.
Exactly.
Wow.
See, that's the point. They rounded up.
I'm gonna
Or
go
maybe
look
they
at this
added the
now.
seconds on this one and the seconds on that one, and that's comes out to the total. I'm going to go do the research now that you have brought this up, but
You
not
do
right
it.
now.
You do it after the podcast.
Yes, not right at this moment. When
Okay,
I say
thanks.
now, I just mean I am now enthused to go do this research. Not that I'm going to do it now and bore everybody with, and then I carry this and do the, carry the three. And I'm not talking about Kerry Robinson
Or carries of Agnon.
or carries a
Too,
bag.
too many carries in this damn game.
Well, I don't think it's too many. I think it's an appropriate amount. All right. The Casey Current shutout streak ends at 870 minutes or 869 minutes or whatever. That part is irrelevant at this point. I think, and Carrie, do you want to bring up the same point you may have brought up on another pod? That the pressure.
Oh yeah. No, I think it's great that the current had kind of let up the school because the pressure for them going so close into playoffs is just off their back. I mean, they've been talking about, even Sperry's been talking about this, how he thought that a few months ago, he was writing a story about how the Current had been so dominant and not giving up a goal. And he thought that, because he had written about it, he was going to be the jinx. And it just kind of kept going and going and going. And so going into playoffs, especially with, um, I mean, Chicago's not a playoff team, but they're kind of on a hot start at the moment, or hot streak at the moment, but just a team like that to get a goal against such a dominant Kansas City Current team, especially because it wasn't even like a really good goal. It was almost like it was just like a blip in kind of like I don't know, Lorena was uh little slow to getting to that ball because it went just like right next to her. I mean, she makes those saves, but just having the pressure off your back into it's okay to make mistakes. How do we build off of that? How do we respond to that? And I mean, they responded with 2 goals after that, which was great.
Yeah, the game was never in doubt with that one goal given up. But what do you think, Sperry? Do you think like that now a little pressure's off? They don't have to like, oh, we have to be perfect, or is it
No,
just maybe drive them to be better?
I think I almost feel like in general the pressure was off period when they won the Shield.
Yeah.
Like I mean like if you go and look at this whole game, like they were the shutout streak was what it was. In reality, it was unrealistic to think that it would continue on. Um, Even beyond like 5, 6 games was ridiculous. I mean to go as many as they did, almost. I mean, they were about 20 minutes away from completing 20 to 30 minutes, sorry, 30 minutes away from completing an actual
10
10
games.
straight 10 games total of scoreless soccer. And so I mean the way they played that whole game, they were free, they were fluid, they weren't pressing and forcing some of the chances that even attacking wise. And I just thought, I mean, that they were willing to flow and go forward. They had no risks, and I think to take by conceding anymore. And I don't know, like I think there's maybe some acceptance that it was going to happen, personnel on the field. But yeah, I just felt like I understand what you're saying in the fact that it took the pressure off. I just really feel like from the like the way they played this game against the Stars was outside of the Bay FC game, the most clinical and best they've looked um, in many games this season. And that they've been dominant, but this was like dominant and clinical with their chances. And that just it hasn't come out as much this year in terms of the goal output. So they just felt like they were playing without pressure all game for me.
I no, I think that that's a good point. I think that they were playing pretty free, but this does also, like to Carrie's point, I think just take off one thing that they could have been forcing issues with a little bit. They don't have to like, okay, that streak's done. They can't they can't do better than that this year with the amount of games left, unless you try to do the multi-year counts, which I hate those. So they just go and play, and they'll probably still shut out almost every team. So.
Mhm.
All right. One of the big advantages to this game was they pretty much played a lot of other players who don't get a ton of time. Besides the four goals, they played a lot of players. Uh, Bailey Feist got a start. Katie Scott got a start. Uh, let's see, Robinson and Ball together. Of course, that's more because of injury. But just, I mean, you're getting some other players, and then when they subbed in, Steiglitter came in. Uh, Pfeiffer, Long. I don't know if I'm missing somebody else. Izzy Rodriguez, but but you just got a lot of players who didn't get a ton of time over the season getting into real games. What did you think of Katie Scott's time?
I thought she was great. She came out with all the speed and power that she needed to. She was getting into positions and using her youth because she is only 18. And with that is going to come the speed. I thought she was getting into spots quickly enough on the turnovers to drive that ball up the field, get it out into the wings.
How about you, Daniel?
Um, you have an 18-year-old player who went against one of the hottest forwards in terms of like form at the moment in Ludmila, and did not concede a goal in her debut NWSL performance to a player who was really, really freaking good. Now there were some chances. Ludmila did kind of get the best of her towards the end of the half. The yellow card too that she was on probably what affected the substitution the most, in my opinion. You just want to avoid any red cards, and of course, if let's say they're down a player and Chicago's at 2-1, all of a sudden that game really changes. Um, it's a good sub to bring her off, and kind of manage it and give, Izzy a whole half to kind of stay fresh still on that left-handed side. But I was just like you said, Carrie, the way she was able to kind of win the ball and kind of intercept some of those chances out for Ludmila and turn them very quickly back in to the wing, especially to Cooper. But even then, she had some really good passes where she picked off, kind of a long ball situation or read it, cut the pass out, and then like dished it perfectly to Lowe or Bailey. And Bailey played one of the best games I've ever seen her play for the Current on Saturday night, or sorry, on Friday night. So like the passes through the seams into the middle, but also the passes outside to kind of spring that outer attack, which is really smart in general from her.
It's interesting because I still thought that was maybe not her strength, and so far was the passing. I think it was better than when we saw her in the Teal Rising Cup.
Much better, yeah.
Because I think we both talked about how she was not as good at the passing as we had hoped she would be. She was great defensively,
And she was
but that was
trying a lot
also
of
the timing.
Yeah, she was trying stuff too. Like
Yeah.
that's the thing too. She was trying stuff a lot. And this one, I didn't really see her try to hit as many of those long, crazy diagonals as she did. She kind of tended to swing it back to Gabrielle Robinson if she was going to swing it out wide versus trying to hit the full field diagonal. She did twice, and I think she completed both, if not at least one of them. And she hit it with the right pace this time. I think that was the one thing you were talking about, those passing. I just remember that game against Corinthians where she just kept on trying those long diagonal passes and they weren't coming off, and this time they did.
Yeah, and I'm not trying to like bag on
No,
her or anything,
no,
because but she was 66.7% completion ratio, and for the current that was almost the bottom. Ellie Wheeler, Dabinia, interestingly, Dabinia was lower, but she's trying those more complicated ones in the box kind of thing. And Michelle Cooper, the same thing. They were lower on the passing completion. Um, so everybody was above that on the passing on according to FBref. Again, not trying to bag on her because she is a really good defender, and I think her passing is just going to do nothing but improve as she gets used to that level. But I know I asked Vlaco, I think it was me, in the presser about what he thought of her, and he said he basically tasked her with a really difficult duty out there, and to you talked about how she is defending Lamilla, but he is wanting her to go forward and then challenging her to get back in time to cover with the one center back.
yeah,
So she did well at that. She was really good defensively. Cut
she
out a lot of
was.
passes.
Yeah, and just the the overall work ethic, like we saw that the first time around
Yeah.
from her, but like the current have an embarrassment of riches at fullback because I you have that in an 18-year-old player behind Ellie Wheeler, who's phenomenal, Haley Mace, who is national team level, and Iz Rodriguez, who's national team level. That's a really, really deep fullback room.
Yeah.
Really, really deep.
And how old is Katie Scott?
18.
And she could be around for a long time. She could be the
Mhm.
successor to Mace and well, Mace probably.
Yeah.
All right. You mentioned Bailey Feist earlier. Carrie, what did you see from Bailey?
Yeah, I mean, like Sperry said, I think it was one of her better or her best game in a current uniform. And I was actually just talking to my friend who listens to the pod, Susie, and Susie was like, I think that, with free agency on the horizon for her, this is a game that's going to bump her up to another team that's saying that she's starting quality for, a lower table team.
Yeah. I mean, there's two new teams next year too, so that's going to be the challenge for keeping some of those type of players.
Mhm.
Let's
Yeah.
see.
The depth will get tested when something like that because Feist was pretty decent in her appearances for Washington before she came. She was really good when she filled in a lot last year, before, Desi Scott got hurt. But to see her in the attacking way that she was, feeding Davinia, feeding Biazonarato, and some of those passes that she was playing in, trying to thread the needle, playing through balls in and around. I mean, just vision, quick decision making, and accurate passing. Quite good.
Yeah, I think we kind of forget about what she can do because whenever she does come on, it's the last 15, 10 minutes. And
Hmm.
at that point, current is park the bus. Yes, we're going to
Yeah,
have a chance, but we're not really trying anymore.
yeah.
Very, very true. She did really well. I was very impressed. I mean, the midfield
Uh,
did not really miss a beat with having her in there.
No.
the I will dare I say it felt like a low Vanessa DiBernardo midfield combo with how good her passing was.
Yeah.
Like that it was the timing was perfect. The accuracy was there. She was constantly setting teammates into advantageous situations. And that's just that's the kind of thing that Vanessa DiBernardo has, in the ability to kind of have that vision of a 10, but also being able to be like a deeper lying midfielder. And that is just it's not a knock on Hutton or even Rocky or other players that play there, but like just really impressed me the vision that Feist was playing with last night.
Yeah, two chances
Last night,
created
Friday.
point
Sorry.
Friday. Yeah. No, she had two chances created, 0.29 in expected goals. I mean, this is a what we've seen as a backup to a backup, and it was a great game by her.
Absolutely. She did really well. Very, very happy for her. Sad that that probably means that they will. I would say that there's a fair chance that they could lose her in the offseason. I don't know. I'm not even sure what her status is, quite honestly, right now. But I know somebody would be wanting her. All right. I think we've talked about all the starters that really needed to be talked about. Well, let's go back for a second. The back line was Wheeler, Scott, Robinson, and Ball in the center back row spots. They did what they needed to do. They didn't allow any goal running through them. The one goal that was given up was kind of from the side, and Lorena should have done better with that. How did that pairing go for you, Ball and Robinson?
I I think that even last season, I am the first person to like hate on the Currents defense, despite them not having given up any goals this or 11 goals now
Wow,
just this
what
season.
hater you are.
No, I know. And I think it's because of the pairing of Ball and Robinson. Like last year, whenever we had it for that half season, it was scary. The year before, whenever that would happen, we were one of the worst teams in the league. So I was still a little nervous just like watching them, but I think that Ball held it down enough that Gabrielle could make mistakes here and there, which she did. Um, but it's kind of like whenever you have your calm defender and you're, like the other one that can go wild, so like your Matt Basler and your Ike you know. It's one of those cases of Ball was able to hold it down whenever she needed to.
How about you, Daniel?
I felt that it was a good pairing. I, l- I, f- I find Robinson's passing to be better than what she showed in when she was in, but I didn't think she was all that bad. Um, I think there was a couple of times where maybe she recognized too late that she needed to cover in a runner that had kind of beaten in behind a fullback that had pushed forward. Some of that's just kind of like game speed, time recognition, and stuff like that. That'll come back with more minutes on the field. But in reality, um, that Chicago Stars team was pretty hot in general. They only conceded one goal. It wasn't really the back line's fault, as we've established that Lorena should probably save it. So I'm fine with the pairing. If you can do that against the last place team in the league, uh, I don't know. More power to you. It's fine. But thought they did a good enough job. I'm actually just kind of like looking back at the goal here real quick and noticing again, it was one of those where the line had dropped much deeper, and Robinson probably could have been about 5 yards deeper there. And the angle for that shot uh, why is her name escape Nadia Gomes um, wouldn't have really been there. So maybe a small mistake on Robinson's part, but ultimately I thought in general it was a decent night for the back line.
Yeah.
I would also just like to say that I was really rooting for Kayla Sharples on that Iron Woman, so it was really sad to see her on that injury report just being out and, taking it on the cautious side.
Yeah, she'll be out for a while too. From what I understand, it's about the same amount of time as Mace. So probably another 3 weeks, 2 weeks, 4 weeks.
Mhm.
Very precise of me, right? But my guess will be that we would probably see them back shortly before the playoffs, just so they can get some tune-up time before they have to play for real. But we'll see how that goes. All right, let's take a real quick break, and we'll come back and talk a little bit more about the game, and then many more things, I'm sure. We'll be right back.
Does it ever feel like you're a marketing professional just
speaking into the void?
But with LinkedIn ads, you can know you're reaching the right decision makers, a network of 130 million of them, in fact. You can even target buyers by job title, industry, company, seniority, skills, and did I say job title? See how you can avoid the void and reach the right buyers with LinkedIn ads. Spend $250 on your first campaign and get a free $250 credit for the next one. Get started at linkedin.com/campaign. Terms and conditions apply.
The family that vacations together stays together. At least, that was the plan. Except now, the dastardly desk clerk is saying he can't confirm your connecting rooms.
Wait, what?
That's right, ma'am. You have rooms 201 and 709.
No, we cannot be 5 floors away from our kids.
The doors have double locks. They'll be fine.
When you want connecting rooms confirmed before you arrive, it matters where you stay.
Welcome to Hilton. I see your connecting rooms are already confirmed.
Hilton, for this day.
This episode is brought to you by Nespresso and Samra Origins by the Weekend Coffee Collection.
Introducing Samra Origins. My collaboration with Nespresso is a connection to my roots, to my mother, Samra. Coffee that hits the right notes. It transports you. Crafted with unique notes and bold, soaring flavors. Experience a taste that moves you. Nespresso and Samra Origins.
Discover more at Nespresso.com.
This episode is presented by State Farm. Having insurance isn't the same as having State Farm. It's like expecting the leadership of a team captain on the football field, but getting a sea captain. You wouldn't settle for just anything for your team. Shouldn't it be the same for your insurance? So don't settle for just any insurance when you can go with a leader. State Farm. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
And we're back. All right, 4 goals. Chicago has been pretty good, and they have a really good keeper, Willis there. But still, fun to put up 4 goals. Although one of them was a penalty in the 95th minute. But still, what impressed you about the attack? Even with, it was a very strong front line. I mean, everybody else was a little bit not the strongest lineup possibly, but the front line was damn good.
Yeah, we recorded Shades of Blue right before this, and I had said that I had an argument for why my horoscope was correct with the hat trick.
Right.
So I'm calling this a hat trick because the 2 Brazilians scored and Temwa Chawinga. A Brazilian hat trick. Because if on some of the streetcar, there's a streetcar that has only Brazilians and Temwa Chawinga on it.
Yep.
The other Brazilian cannot score, so I am just lumping Temwa in there. So, hat trick.
Temwa's an honorary Brazilian?
Yes. So, just so my horoscope is correct, although it was correct that there would be a hat trick in the other KC game, unfortunately.
So, just for a little behind the scenes stuff, we recorded the Shades of Blue podcast a little while before we did this one, where it focuses a little more on sporting, but we also talk current and pretty much all soccer in Kansas City. And you mentioned that you were going to talk about this hat trick thing. And I thought you were going to say you predicted Paintsel scoring on Sporting KC.
I did not predict that one, but I predicted the red card. So, I just said I just blatantly said that there was going to be a red card in the Sporting KC versus LA Galaxy before, like 20 minutes before it started. You could ask Isaac. And he was freaking out when it actually happened.
All right.
So was Shoppy. Anyways.
Back to this. Dabinia, very nice goal.
Yes,
Bia, nice goal.
I did not think that either of those goals were going to go in. I thought that Bia's was insane. I am surprised that she actually got it off. It seemed like it was a super hard angle. It seemed like maybe the defender was getting an extra step on her, and she shot it at the right moment for it to go in. Same with Temoise. I thought she was gonna lay it off, and I was surprised that she didn't because I believe there was another current player at the top of the box. But she went through all 4 players instead.
And shot at a right angle. That's not easy to do.
Nope. Yeah, all the goals really impressive. I just thought, I think there's one that stood out to me. I think Bia's one because I didn't expect Bia to get the speed that she did. Like she doesn't strike. She's not like the running behind type that you can't catch, but like just the way she took that ball, the way Chewinga brought that ball down first, and shielded the defender, and then turned and laid it off into her run, combined with the finish with authority from Bia was just phenomenal. Shows her quality. Temwa, of course, the third goal, crazy. Um, but
and puts her alone atop the Golden Boot race.
it does. She gets a goal and assist, which pushes her up above Esther. I don't think Esther scored this weekend, so
She did not.
Not.
yeah.
So she is one goal up going into the last 4 games.
She's one goal up, and she's just 2 assists behind, also leading the league in assists.
Okay, that's a little crazy. That's just the
Saying.
player she is, though. Man.
The tiebreaker as well.
Yeah.
All right. One thing's I started to talk a little bit in the first segment, but Mary Long came in, Pfeiffer came in, Izzy came in, but we've seen her a bunch. Allie came in, we've seen her quite a bit. Reagan Steiglatter. So, what did you see from Mary Long, Alex Pfeiffer, and Steiglatter?
First, Mary Long played as a striker when she came on,
Yep.
and this is the back to this Katie Scott thing. She looked so comfortable as a striker. She was backing down Sam Staub. You see her kind of do that false nine thing and run. The defender didn't track her. The defender just like didn't care that there was a giant gap that Demo was about to run into. So shame on whoever that was for Red Stars, or I'm sorry, I'm calling them the Red Stars. Don't care.
Yeah, it's fine.
But
You have a pass.
As she drops into that hole to take that pass from Izzy, it's the one-time layoff into the way of Chewinga, but it perfectly threads the needle, sets Chewinga in on goal and sets her up two in a spot where she can do whatever she needs to. Because if the defender goes too long, then Temwa's in clear one-on-one and has no problem. But the defender stays, so then Chewinga takes the ball and was able, with the way the placement of the ball, she's able to cut inside on it and go and score that goal. So I was really impressed with Mary Long, really impressed with Pfeiffer's like bravery in taking people on one-on-one. Of course, earns the penalty kick at the end of the game. But yeah, those were the two that really stood out the most to me out of those subs.
And Steiglatter came in and did a fine job too. I mean, nothing spectacular, but that's what you needed, right? Did I see she's in like dating a Chiefs player or something?
Yes.
I'm not usually into like following people's personal lives, but something just popped up on Facebook and I'm like, oh, cool.
The
Good for her.
fullback for the Chiefs.
I thought he was a linebacker.
He is a linebacker.
No.
I'm pretty sure. That
It's
is
what
my
it said
dad-
on the Facebook thing that I saw. So I
That's what my
do not
dad
know.
told me, and I'm going based off Gary, who has a shrine to the Chiefs every single time that they play.
Yeah. She trusts Gary more than the guy who just came from the sports talk show.
I trust Gary, not Sperry.
This is getting very airy. However, not that that's really the relevant point. I'm going to go back to what you said about Fiverr, or excuse me, let's Mary Long first. Again, I'm starting to see people like, well, at least I didn't boo her this time or something like that. I'm like, come on, man, she's one of your players. Shut up. It's ridiculous. She's a good player. She's a young player. Not going to be perfect. Not going to be everything go right. She's a very good player for her age and just has a ton of potential. Pfeiffer, I have liked her since last year when she first came on, and she's just been always impresses me. And you talked about her bravery taking people on. You ever go to like youth games and you see like the one really talented kid that's taking on everybody and they're doing like 27 step overs to make the other person just keep backing up because they don't know what to do? That's Pfeiffer going up against professional defenders.
Yep.
She was just backing them up like it was a U10 game. And
the way in which they retreated on her, and eventually fouled her for that penalty kick.
Yeah.
She had him cooked.
Yep. I thought she was going to blow by and actually get the shot off. and she would have if they had not fouled her in the box.
I think there were a few times like that. Like I was really rooting for Mary Long to be getting that goal, which it was didn't 13. I cannot think of her name. Hey, Hopkins. Didn't Hopkins
Ah,
come in as well? Yes.
no,
No? Okay,
No.
then I'm
no,
just confusing her for Mary Long. Tall
yes,
blondes.
yes. When they've been on before on some previous games, I'm like, oh, like, and then Sharple's running up and her running up, and it's like blonde ponytail hell. I'm trying to figure out who's running.
Yeah. But yeah, so I guess all the shots that I thought was Hopkins was just Mary Long, which makes it even better. I was really rooting for her to get that goal.
Well, there was that one where she had a good chance and ball bounced all over the place, um, and all that stuff, and it ended up going off a Pfeiffer at the end.
Yeah. One hit the post as well, I believe.
Yeah, it was all a good performance for that. Something I meant to bring up earlier when we were talking about who started. Everybody should know by now. I don't always keep everything in linear order. That's the way my brain sometimes works. But anyway, Katie Scott. I want to go back to her for a second. 18, so talented, so fast. I still think she'll improve her passing and all that stuff, but still really good. Not complain. But she was on loan at one point to Racing Louisville, and
She was.
like I mean, first of all, I thought it was a good move to get her time because you had Mace healthy, you had Izzy Rodriguez healthy, you had Wheeler healthy. She probably wasn't going to see the field very much, if at all, if one of them wasn't injured. However, she goes on loan to Racing Louisville and then doesn't get on the field, which was kind of weird, I thought, at that time.
Mhm.
How long was she down there? She wasn't there very long, was she?
She was there for like 6 games or so, because she came back. So she was recalled on loan just before the Spirit came, right? If I recall.
Well,
And
that's what I
then
wasn't sure. I didn't think she was there very long, but because I saw her
I'm,
back.
yeah, I'm pretty sure she got recalled for the Spirit game. So, or just ahead of the Spirit game. Um, my first question to it all was like, is there an injury somewhere that we don't know about? And there wasn't. Of course, Haley Mace's injury now,
Right.
in hindsight, has obviously opened up good opportunities for playing time here if Vlaco's going to keep resting and rotating players for halves or whole games or whatever he's doing with it, um, whatever his method to madness is. But it was just kind of the whole loan thing was weird because Louisville gets her on loan and then you have the opportunity to play her against the team that gave her to you. And they started in that 2-0 win for the Current down in Louisville. They started a freaking left winger at right back instead of her. Made no sense. Like they're pulling players out of position to play and fill the position. And then they went and traded for an actual player there. And look, I'm not saying like it just kind of made no sense there in there. So I mean, I guess good for the Current, right? That's what happens when you can do that. You can send a player on loan instead of trading them. But yeah,
Yeah, I don't know. I did not dig into it too far, but it just seemed very weird that she was there for a little while, didn't play, and then comes back and she
hmm
obviously can play pretty well. I mean, maybe she's not 90-minute fit. Maybe you only play her for 45. I don't know, right?
yeah.
Because
I
that's always the hard part for players to come in and play 90 minutes when they don't have much playing time.
yeah. Also too, like let's think about it this way too. We're talking about like an 18-year-old player who is um who had 1 year of college. She went to college early. So she's now college age,
Yeah.
like freshman year age.
Yep.
And she, I don't remember exactly where she's originally from, but then she goes to Penn State. So she spends a year at Penn State, um, and then comes to Kansas City, and then goes to, uh, she's from Pennsylvania. So, then goes on loan to Louisville. I mean, for an 18-year-old, probably freshly 18-year-old, we're talking like 3 cities as home in a calendar year. I mean, I don't know, at some point too, that probably just, if you're the current, you're probably sitting there and you're saying, are you happy? Are things going well? Because you're the current. You're going to check in on your players, especially when they're on loan. They're your player if they're still on loan. You can recall them at any time. And if a player is, if a player is in a place where maybe they don't want to be, um, or the player is in a place that they're not getting the playing time that they promise, and the current says we might have opportunities for playing time for you here, considering this whole Shield thing is gonna kind of wrap up our regular season pretty soon. Um, let's just pull you back, because if you're not gonna get playing time there, then what's the point in you being over there? Maybe it's one of those things too where I don't know. In the future, do you send an 18-year-old like that out on loan if they're in that way? I know it's done in men's sports a lot, in men's soccer. They'll send young players on loan elsewhere, stuff like that, but down into like lower divisions and all that. But it's hard on them at that age, and I would just be curious if they do something like that again, for one, but two, I guess they're in a good spot because they can pull a player back like that.
I think that just depends on the player. But
Yeah.
go ahead, Gary.
I was to say, but then for Racing Louisville, like they are trying to not get ninth place, trying to bump up into the playoffs. And so it's like, are they going to take that chance on a game that could mean their season on a young player who it was sent down there for minutes, but there's a playoff still that they
Yeah.
got to get into.
And that's kind of along the lines of one of the things I was thinking about Louisville in that case is I know if I was a coach, I would sometimes perhaps trust the player that I know more than the player that was sent to me for time, right? I mean, it sometimes takes a while before you work those players in. Even with Sporting KC, you needed to take a look at players that are there on loan that they might want to buy, like Santi and Montez. It took a while for them to get them into regular rotation. So I could see that in that case, but I still wonder if it was just more that they didn't want her to be down there for too long. Like you were pointing out, like she's been in multiple cities, but she also part of that time she was with one of the national teams too. So she was in South America somewhere, I
Another
believe.
country. Yep.
So there's a comfort zone when you are around players and then there's definitely takes people out of a comfort zone when you send them to another team. And yet, the 10th city she's been in a year, exaggeration, but whatever number that is with national team duty and all that other stuff. So yeah, there's probably was some comfort level there for her wanting to maybe come back and also maybe compete for some time towards the end of the year so that you can be prepared for whatever. So, but I'm glad she's back, man. She was such a good defender, so fast and very, very determined.
The work ethic is going to take her as is what the work ethic is what's going to take her to very high levels. Because she clearly has the skill, she has the vision and technical talent. But then sometimes you get players like that, they haven't had to work for it, so they don't really work for it. And she is all work. And that is a really good young prospect that I think current fans should be pretty excited about, which is I know is hard for them to do considering the fact that she's probably the fifth fullback on the depth chart in reality. Maybe fourth.
Well, are you counting Ball in there?
No.
It's one of those. Who are you counting as the 5?
Reagan, technically, but even then, it's probably 50-50.
Experience versus speed.
Yeah.
See, we always go down like these tangents. I mean, imagine that because we all do this. Talking about a player having different comfort levels, but working hard is where I'm going to. Because a lot of times you'll see players in this world that have all that speed and they just kind of have it easy. And then if they go off to college, they do this, they do that. They still have it easy, but when they get to the pro level and all of a sudden they're not used to having to work for it, I wonder if this is an advantage of bringing in the 16, 17, 18-year-olds that, yeah, they were absolutely the best player on their teams, but now they have a couple years before they're fully adult having to work against full adults, full professional players. I wonder if that is an advantage to that aspect of bringing in young players. Because there's always that question like, well, should we be bringing in 16-year-old players? I don't disagree with, I don't argue against that, but I know a lot of people do. I just wonder if that is an advantage of it, that you bring them in and they have to work hard against the senior players.
Well, I was thinking about that from the standpoint of now that NWSL 2 isn't happening for a fact, they pushed it
For
back
another
another
year.
year. They pushed it back another year. And they have these younger players that maybe another roster spot could be used for. And, I'm just thinking, what was the current front office doing when they were suggesting to a 17-year-old Katie Scott that, hey, you could leave college after a year at under 18 and we might have this whole system for you. But now it's pushed back another year and
Well, the current will still have a two team.
yes.
It just won't be in a full NWSL 2 league. They will do again, I'm sure, for another year of scrimmages against USL Super League teams, which is, I don't know if you watched that game, the last one when they played against Sporting Jacksonville. They lost, but they were not outmanned too much. I mean, it was a really good game. They just didn't have enough of the attacking talent to score on it, I don't think. But otherwise, it was a really good game.
More rewards, more savings. With American Express Business Gold, earn up to $395 back in annual statement credits on eligible purchases at select shipping, food delivery, and retail subscription merchants. Enjoy the benefits of membership with the Amex Business Gold Card. Terms apply. Learn more at americanexpress.com/business-gold. Amex Business Gold Card. Built for business by American Express.
For a limited time at McDonald's, get a Big Mac Extra Value Meal for $8. That means 2 all-beef patties, special sauce, lettuce, cheese, pickles, onions on a sesame seed bun, and medium fries, and a drink. We may need to change that jingle.
Prices and participation may vary.
Brooks Running reminds us that we're all powered by something. Whether it's the me-time energy of a run after a day at the office, the electrifying energy of your first marathon, or the infectious energy of a group run with your friends. No matter what energy powers you, Brooks has gear specifically designed to unleash it. So lace up and let it out. Let's run there. Visit brooksrunning.com today to learn more.
Jif peanut butter. It's that jiffing good, it doesn't really need advertising. So instead, enjoy the calming sounds of the ocean. It's that jiffing good. Get your Jif at jif.com.
Okay, so Vlaco used a lot of players for this game that did not get a lot of minutes. How many players now have that's on the roster that has not played in a NWSL game this year?
I will say
I'm trying to find the answer, but
Well,
No,
no, this is
don't
more just
find
you
the
trying
answer.
to. Yeah, don't find the answer. Go off the head, man.
Come on, Sverre.
Wing it.
I'm gonna say 2.
Yeah, who?
Both of the backup goalkeepers. Because Claire Gagne, is that her last name?
Yeah.
Is out with a concussion, so they had to bring in another backup goalkeeper. Those are my 2.
I think there's one more, but maybe I'm missing. Did Hamilton play in an NWSL game this year?
Hamilton has not played.
Right.
Dang.
So there you go. I think that's the only 3 that have not played in an NWSL game so far this year.
I feel so bad for forgetting Hammy.
How dare you?
I know, but because I had this question in my own mind, like, dang,
Okay.
he's used almost every player, and I went to look.
Currently on the roster.
I see what you did there.
Currently on the roster.
Ooh, bad pun intended.
I know. It would be 3.
Right.
If you include players that had been on the roster, it would be four because Jericho never played a minute.
Very true.
There you go.
She did play for Coug.
Coug.
All right. I don't know if that was our trivia section for the day, but it was the let's find out answers while we're on a pod question for the day.
That's the more you know.
No, but I did look at the roster right before we did this to look at that, and I did forget about Jericho being on there because they should really still on there. Damn it. Anyway, good game. Next up was it Angel City? Is that next
Yes.
on a Monday night?
Monday Night Football. Bum 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 bum.
So they play Sunday, Friday, and then a Monday.
Bum 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 bum.
I don't love the schedule makers in this league.
Bum 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 bum.
So,
Bum bum bum.
Didn't you play trumpet and not sing?
I was asked to sing my parts.
We released that photo last week.
We released band photo, Daniel.
Instead of Carrie Underwood singing "It's Sunday Night Football," it's gonna be Sperry singing "It's Monday Night Football."
Waiting all day for Monday night. There we go. Okay. Anyways.
No, you have to create your own jingle.
Okay. I'll work on it and get back to you.
You do that. Angel City, currently in 11th place. Is that right? Or did they move up today or something? Yep, they're still in 11th place.
Yeah, they lost earlier to Racing Louisville.
Yeah, so Racing Louisville is in 8th place right now.
They are.
For the moment. Yep. Because they're traditionally a night. They're traditionally always one spot out of the playoff team, aren't they?
Yep.
Every single season they've been in 9th place.
Well, that's kind of funny.
Yeah, so I'm kind of rooting for them to be there again. I actually like Louisville. I just don't necessarily like Racing Louisville. All right, running down the standings. Current at the top, 16 points back. The Spirit, 6 points back. Gotham, a point back. Seattle, a point back. Orlando, a point back. Thorns, tied in San Diego, same. Louisville at 29. North Carolina at 28. They have not said this yet, but Chicago's should be eliminated, right?
Chicago is.
I didn't know if I didn't see anything officially eliminated or no little check marks against them on the.
Before the weekend, they released it was 2 points. It was the magic number for elimination for the Stars, and they took 3 to the Dome.
Yeah, I'm saying they kind of lost.
Kind of did.
Bay's still hanging in there with a possibility, but extremely unlikely. Unlikely. Same for Utah. Angel City is only 4 points out, but 4 games left, and if they usually if you have to gain as many points as you have left in the league, you probably aren't making it.
Just Bay FC has not won in their last 11.
Oof.
Poor Jeff.
Poor Jeff.
We were talking about this earlier, Thad, because when we were recording earlier, I just had live standings up.
Yeah.
Whenever.
And I don't like them.
Yeah, whenever the Rain scored earlier, because I got the notification on my Apple Watch as I have every single goal just notified just to see for fun. And when they went up, they were sitting in 8th place, and just 1 goal difference can put them up into 4th, which is an insane scope from even 3rd place, because that's only 1 point above the Rain right now. So it's 34 to 9th place. 3rd place is at 39 points, and then 9th place is at 28 points, which is an insane 1 win and you're in the playoffs. 1 mistake and you're not it.
Yeah, which is why some years you don't win the Shield until the last day, and it can't always be everywhere that a possible Shield winner would be. Not that I'm referring to anybody who would whine about that stuff from past years. So, if it ended now, how does it look? Current versus Louisville?
Yes.
Yep,
That would be an entertaining game.
it would be. I wouldn't rule out Houston though. I know they lost. Um, oh, they never mind. Sorry. Why did I say Houston?
I don't know.
I
Because
mean, they got
they have been playing well, haven't
they
they?
have been good, but they absolutely got cooked by Washington. And they have
4-0.
Orlando, Angel City, the current, and Portland remaining. I mean, you look at their games remaining, there might be one win on the schedule there. With what's left, and that's kind of tough when you got multiple teams to leapfrog. Um, North Carolina has Louisville, Bay FC, but also has Washington and Gotham. And if you're Louisville, you have Chicago, Bay FC, and North Carolina head to head, which could really kind of put an end to things if they get a win there. Because
You know who
if they win the next two games, they're in the playoffs probably. So
you know who I'm rooting for the downfall of? San Diego.
yeah,
Because I watched TikTok the other day as I was making like my mid afternoon coffee, and I just had it playing in the background, and it was this woman saying how NWSL refs and just NWSL commentators hate San Diego Wave because they're bad. And it's like you won the Shield 2 years ago. Why are you complaining? You had Alex Morgan. You still technically have Alex Morgan. You
And they can
are
keep her.
Yeah, you are one win out of third place. And then, so it was a 9-minute long video that I just had playing on in the background. And the first three was talking about how everyone hates San Diego Wave because they're bad. And then the last six was complaining about how Kansas City has a stadium and just hating on Kansas City. And it was insane. It was an insane crash out to watch.
I need the link.
You can share that on our chat or text or whatever.
Will do.
That's interesting. Although I don't know if I'll watch it, but I see enough sad, crazy people as it is. Don't need to watch TikTok to get more sometimes. Yeah, I don't know. If I was going to root against any team right now, it's probably just Orlando, just because they annoyed me last year. Couple games ago when the Spirit were here, I left to go downstairs. I go to the elevator, and there was a Spirit employee who had pressed the button, but then he kind of like walked off to the side and was looking over the stadium out there, and the elevator comes. So I start to go on, and I'm like, "Yo!" I called him over and said, the elevator's here. Oh, thanks. He was like very nice and polite and all that stuff. So I just said, what do you do? And he said like some technical stuff and all that stuff. I said, cool. I said, if you were one of the Orlando staff, I probably wouldn't have told you the elevator came. And he laughed and he goes, yeah, I would do the same. So I don't think anybody likes Orlando. Of course, they might have more reason to hate Orlando than we do. So
I don't think Orlando likes Orlando, honestly, with
yeah,
how small that crowd is.
true. Very good point.
Let me just say, I'm only saying that because if you even talk about the crowd size in Orlando, their fans will come after you and just start hating on you. So you can hear
Yeah,
them from a mile away. They're crying.
they do that a lot. So do some of their players. All right. What else do we need to discuss tonight? Anything? Talked about the league. Talked about Timois being at top of the Golden Boot race again, still. Once again, still reigning, whatever. Um, every player playing except a couple. We talked about all of this stuff. Anything I'm missing?
No, not really.
All right.
How about the Utah? Okay, you know what? How about the Utah Royals? I'm just gonna say this. Like, what's happening there? They trade away Ali Sentnor, and they've won 4 of their last 5,
Yeah.
unbeaten in their last 7. Their only loss since the break was to the Current.
Yeah.
I mean, they are well out of playoff contention at the moment. But
they're 8 points out with
they're
4 games left.
They're 8 points out with 4 games left, but they have beaten all the teams that are ahead of them lately. They have Chicago, probably a win. They have San Diego, could potentially be a win with how bad San Diego's been. Seattle's been bad. That's also a win. That could be, I mean, it could be 9 points. And those are now they're road games. But that like I'm interested, man. That game 2 against the Spirit, um, on the final weekend. Uh, Spirit may have their playoff positioning locked up, in the table, by then too. Like,
Yeah.
does Spirit rest? Are we looking at like another 12 points out of them? Like that could make things happen. So I'm interested to see what happens with them.
It could definitely make it interesting. I mean, NWSL is a little bit of a chaos league, right? Weird things happen. Teams go up, teams go
I would be
down,
stunned
and
to see them in the playoffs, but it's
they can make it
they can make
games.
it interesting, and they are playing good soccer. Like, that's the thing. They're playing good soccer, and that has been a much welcomed addition to my watches around the league, is
Yeah.
more teams playing better
Good soccer.
soccer.
Yeah.
Because there was a stretch there where there were not a lot of teams playing good soccer.
But I mean, they could, make it scary for North Carolina, for Louisville, for San Diego, even. They could
Yep.
give them all a little bit of squeaky bum time there.
Squeaky bum time.
One of my favorite phrases that I don't use often enough.
Hmm.
I think for Utah, though, with the Sentner transfer, it's addition by subtraction, and I don't think it's because she was bad. I think it's because they had to focus too much on her, and they didn't have always the best place to play her. Where she doesn't have to come into the Current and be the best player. She has to come on the Current and be one of the 10 best players,
Yeah.
and that's about it. I mean, she's a midfielder that is good. Hasn't I don't think she's even even come close to finding her form for Sporting. I mean, for Current, sorry, yet. But she's had playing time. She's fit in, and they have such a good young core of how many players do they have that we've really praised today that are 21 and younger?
Mhm.
We didn't even mention Hutton, right?
Yeah.
Such a good young core for the future.
Hmm.
All right. I know we said we didn't have anything else to talk about, and then we did.
Found it. Sorry.
Yeah, no problem. We don't come to expect that at all from you, Daniel. Any last words, Carrie?
May we have fun in these last 4 games and we get ready for the playoffs.
We are out.